everybody, I hope this video finds you all safe and well and not too bored. So the class that we're going to do for you today is going to be designed for 4 to 6 year olds. So our 4 to 6 year old class, obviously in this class we need to keep things nice and simple. We're going to go over a few solo drills. We're going to go over a couple of drills which you can either use with a partner. So for example, parents, you can work with your child on this. Or we're going to be demonstrating with these bags over here. If you have a pillow at home, then that works just as well. So we're going to get straight into a little warm up with a few solo drills. We might finish with a little bit of rolling at the end, depending on how much time we've got. We're looking at making this class about half an hour today. Okay? So, Oliver, Ethan, are you ready?
Yeah.
Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do something that we call bridging. This is very important for our students to learn early on because it's going to help them learn to create space underneath their partner, and the only way that they're ever going to escape if their partner's on top is by creating that space. So, Oliver and Ethan, if you can both lay down with your head facing towards the camera, please. Excellent. So, what they're going to do is they're going to bring their heels nice and close into their butt. They're going to lift their bottoms nice and high. But it's not just the lift up that we're looking for, we're also looking for an angle over. So he's going to take this far hand, he's going to reach over diagonally, touch the floor on the far side, and then he's going to come back to the middle and drop his hips back down to the floor. Then we're both going to lift up and go to the other side, please guys. Nice, and then back down. Good. Can you both do 5 each side, please? Begin. Good, so really important that your students lifting those hips up nice and high. If they're just reaching the arm over, they're not creating space underneath their partner. So make sure they're getting those hips nice and high. All done?
Yeah.
Perfect. Alright, if you sit up for me then guys. So we don't go much further than that with the little kids. We won't move on to shrimping or moving their body to the side until they get a little bit older. So the next drill that we're going to do, very important for all age groups, is learning how to fall on the floor. So we're going to do a break fall next. Again, for the little kids, we don't do much more than just a nice simple floor drill. Obviously as the kids get a little bit older, we'll do this from standing. And we might do it from standing for the little ones, but we need a nice big soft mat for that. So, boys, if you sit down for me please. Cross your legs, facing the camera. Good, so first little drill that we do with the kids is we get them to tuck their chin into their chest. So this is going to make sure that their head doesn't hit the floor as they rock back. They need to keep their butt back nice and arched like a ball, so their back is going to gradually touch the mat. So they're going to do a rock back. So if I help Oliver first, he rocks himself back, makes his little rock at the end, doesn't let his head touch the floor, and then he rocks himself back up again. For the little kids, we call this the rocker. So boys, can you show me 5 each, please? Begin. So very important that they're keeping their heads off the floor and not letting their necks and heads flop back and strike the mat. Obviously on a mat, it wouldn't be too bad, but if they were doing this on concrete, very important that those heads stay off the floor. Right, so now we add a break fall part to this. So what they're going to do is they're going to make this little butterfly just in front of their chest. They're going to rock themselves back. As they rock themselves back, they're going to be striking with the clapping part of the hand, so palm part of the hand, and all the way down the forearm and arm. When they hit, the arms need to be nice and close to the body, not too far apart. So keeping the arms in nice and close. So Ethan, if you show us one first, he's going to do the same thing. He keeps his chin tucked in, he's going to rock himself back, and just as his back's about to hit the floor, he hits. Nice, and then comes back up. In the classes, we tell the kids that this is the only part in the class that are actually allowed to make lots and lots of noise. So let your kids go for it. So, butterflies, rocking back, and hitting. Let's do 5, please, guys. you just go take a seat off to the side just for a second. Oliver, you come into the middle. So just so this is a little bit safer, we're going to do a side-to-side one now. So we're going to have just one of the kids in. He's going to cross one arm across this time. And then as he rocks back, he's just going to fall slightly to the side. And then he's going to hit that one arm down to the side. Again, we don't want to be reaching too high. We want to keep this quite close. And it's all about the timing. As the body hits, the hand hits. And then he tries to rock himself back up again. So Oliver, can you do 3 each side for me, please? Perfect. Ethan, your turn. So obviously we're lucky enough to have some mats here, but at home you can use a rug, carpet, you can even go outside into the garden and use the grass on a nice sunny day like today. I wouldn't say for these particular drills that a laminate flooring or a hard flooring is particularly safe for the children, so let's keep it to rugs, carpets, and maybe the nice grass in the back garden, although they might get a little bit muddy, but that's fine. So, next thing that we're going to do is we're going to practice how to do a forward roll. So again, Ethan, can you just come and take a seat off to this side for me, please? Again, for the children, the younger children, we need to keep this as safe as we can. So instead of doing it from a kneeling or a standing position, we get them to practice it from their knees. So they're in nice and low. So what's going to happen is Oliver's going to put his favourite leg in front. So facing this way for me, please, Oliver. He puts his right knee in front. So go a little bit more of an angle there, please, Oliver. Perfect. Right knee in front, left knee on the floor. He's going to take his left hand and place it down. Obviously, if your child is left-handed, they might want to go the other way around. So you'd have the left leg in front, right hand down. He's going to tuck his head and his arm through the space. Now, for the younger ones, if they're really unsure on how to do this or not very confident, you can help them a little bit. So what we're going to do as parents, we're going to take our hand underneath and we're going to hold our student's hand. We're also going to just gently tuck their head in, so as they go for the roll, we just lift and roll them up over the top, just to build up their confidence with their forward roll. So Oliver, you come back over here. So he's going to have a go at this by himself this time. He puts his worst hand down through this gap between the knee and the hand. He tucks his head and his arm. He does a nice forward roll, and then come back over here, please, Oliver. So Oliver's going to do that one more time, but this time we're going to see if we can add a backwards roll to that as well. So he puts his right knee in front, left hand down, right hand and head go through a nice smooth roll. Oliver, just come back over here just for a second. Stay in that same position. To do his backwards roll, he's going to go over the same shoulder, pushing off on his feet. He rolls over and ends up back on his knees in the same position. So Oliver, if you put your right leg in front, left hand down, he's going to do his forward roll and roll back. Good, nice. Just come back a little bit there so we can see you all the way through that, Oliver. And now if you do 3 of those, please. Hand down, tuck the arm. Nice, nice and smooth. Good, doesn't need to be done fast. Just smooth and back. Nice, and one more. Oliver, try to aim diagonal for me, please. Nice. Very nice. Good. Ethan, switch in for me, please. Good. Over here. Got to keep both these kids active, as I'm sure you can appreciate with kids sitting around the house when they're used to being super active. Need to keep them busy, right? So, right leg in front. Left hand down, and then he tucks his head and his arm through as if he's got enough space, and then backwards roll. Nice, back onto his knees. He does his forward roll. Nice, and back. Good, and one more please, Ethan. Nice, perfect. Good. introduce some proper jiu-jitsu moves. We work a lot in our 4 to 6 year old class on their top control positions. So we work on our mounts, we work on side control, we work on knee on belly. Let's show you what those look like. So we're going to use, so both of these can have go at the same time, we're going to use these bags. Now, if you have something similar at home, great. If you have a pillow would work absolutely fine as well. If you don't have any of those things, parents work great for this. We lay the parents on the floor and the kids can squish them and practice their top positions. Is that right, boys?
Yeah.
So, they've got their mount position first here. So for the mount position, I want them to try to get their knees on the floor if possible. Feet are going to tuck in, which means their knees are slightly out to the side and the arms are nice and wide in a good base position. This is going to mean that if their partner underneath tries to push them off to the side, they're going to have good base and balance. Alright, just so that we don't crash, boys, Oliver, when I say side control, I want you to come off to this side, please. Ethan, I want you to come off to this side, please. Come in just a little bit. Perfect. Alright, boys, you ready?
Yeah.
So we have our mount position. Let's go for side control, please. So they're going to come off to the side and they're going to hug their bag. So this mimics their arm being underneath the head and their arm being underneath the arm. Their knees need to be nice and wide. What tends to happen a lot with the younger kids is they tend to just kind of flop on the floor like this. I want you to try to get them so that they have their knees on the floor and they have a good base off their elbows as well, so they're holding their own weight. Boys, hands to the front of the bag. Pop yourself up to knee on belly, please. Perfect. So from knee on belly, both of the feet are on the same side of the bag. Their knee comes across, good pressure on the bag, and their outside foot is out wide and in a good base position. We have the children put their hands on what would be their partner's shoulders. This is going to help to keep their partner flat. So now, let's go over a few of these positions together there, boys. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So let's go for mount. Good. Let's get me out of the way so everyone can see a little bit better. And side control. Nice. Knee on belly. Good. And mount. Good. Ethan, just center up for me a little bit. Ready. Side control. Alright. And knee on belly. Wait. Good. Just center the bag up there for me, Oliver. Good. And mount. Good. Now, if you have siblings, this is a really good drill for them to practice. You can make it into a little bit of a game and get them to see how fast they can move and see if they can beat the other one. Is that right?
Yeah.
As you can imagine, my boys are very competitive and they do like to beat each other. So we, although we don't play this game quite so much anymore, it used to be a game that we played a lot. So, are you boys ready?
Yeah.
And side control. Whoa. And side control. Oh, nearly gone. Ready, knee on belly. And side control. Oh, very good. And knee on belly. Nice. Mount. Good. Side control. Side control. Oh, couldn't catch him a second time. Ready, knee on belly. And mount. And very nice. Good. All right, boys, put the bags back up there for me, please. Okay, let's show everybody what that should look like on an actual human. So, Ethan, Oliver, if you just go take it off to the side for a second. So, Ethan, if you get your mount position for me, please. Perfect. So this time, you can go off to any side that you want to, okay? So Ethan has his mount position. This is how it should look like. Now, he's going to come off into his side control position, please, Ethan. So he steps off. Now, he needs to make sure that he has an arm underneath my arm on the far side and his other arm underneath my neck. If you're the parent underneath, if you just place your hands onto your student or just underneath your student is perfect. So Ethan's going to go up to a knee on belly, please. So he pops himself up, puts his knee across the belly, feet on the same side, good pressure with the hands on the shoulders. Mount, please. There. And side control. Good. Knee on belly. Mount. Side control. Knee on belly. Good. High five. Nice. Oliver, please. Alright, so start off from the mount, please, Oliver. Alright, you ready? And side control. Good. Nice. See, arm onto the arm onto the head. And knee on belly. Very nice. And mount. Oh, that was a good one. And side control. Good. Knee on belly. Good. Mount. Side control. Knee on belly. And mount. Good. Nice. Very good. Well done. Alright, so a couple of drills that we do with our students. Again, you can use a pillow, a parent. We need the 4 to 6 year olds to develop some sense of control of their balance around their partner and their movement around their partner. Sometimes with the 4 to 6 year olds, they're a little bit clumsy and they don't move themselves around properly. So we teach them little drills with the bag to help them learn that movement and control of their base and balance. What you'll probably find with the 4 to 6 year olds is when they do a couple of these drills, they'll be falling all over the place, falling off the bag. Hopefully that won't happen with Oliver. So the first one is called a knee on belly switch. So he's got his knee on belly position. He switches to the opposite side, making sure that he trusts his weight through his hands as he moves himself across. So he just moves his legs. Hands nice and heavy, switches across. Nice, and switch. 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 Good. Do, in your own time, Oliver, do 15 seconds. Begin. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Oliver, if you go down into your side control position, please. Another one of the movement drills that we like to practice with the young kids is something that we call a little game called spin arounds. So we use the bag. The idea is the student needs to keep their chest glued to their bag as they move around. As they move around, they need to obviously move their legs around, but also very important they learn the concept of moving their arms around the body as well. So for example, Oliver, can you just do a switch over to this side for me, please? So he keeps his chest pressure and he moves himself around, but you see how he moves his arms as well. What sometimes happens with the younger kids is they'll keep their arms where they are, they'll spin their legs around, and then they'll just end up collapsing off of the bag and falling off. So I want them to learn to move their arms to stay in the control. So he keeps his chest pressure. Oliver, if you spin around for me, please. When I say change direction, change directions. Begin. So he keeps his chest pressure, moves himself around. See how he moves his arms. Switch. Nice. Switch. And 3, 2, 1, time. What you'll probably find, this is a lot easier, particularly for the younger kids, because they're a little closer to the floor anyway. The bigger the person, a little bit more difficult, especially with a low bag like this is. So we'll see how Ethan gets on in just a second, shall we? So Ethan, out the front. It would definitely be amusing if I showed you how to do it. So let's start off with the knee on belly. Alright, so he's got his knee on belly position. Let's do a couple of switches just to show him what's going on. He switches, trusts his weight through his hands, and just make sure that when your student lands, they don't land with their knee collapsed to the inside. Try to make sure that the student lands with their knee pointing up and out. So Ethan, let's do 15 seconds, please. Begin. Nice. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Down into your side control position, please. All right, let's have a look at our spin arounds. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Good. Try to keep that chest connected. And switch. go different ways. And switch. Do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Good. Try it out.
Sort of, yes.
Alright, good. It's very nice. So, let's put this bag back off to the side. Alright then. So, Ethan, if you go off to the side for me, please. Oliver, come out the front. So what we're going to move on to now is a little drill which parents can do with their student, helping the student to maintain a top control position. This is a drill that we do a lot in our 4 to 6 year old class. It really helps the understanding of the child of what to do when our partner's trying to escape from underneath. So I'm going to be laying down on the floor as the parent. Oliver, as the student, is going to get his mount position. So Oliver gets his mount here. So the first thing that I'm going to do as the parent is I'm going to try to throw Oliver off to the side. So I'm going to hold the side of his body. I'm going to try to push him off. Now, if he doesn't adjust and he just stays where he is, someone strong like me, I push and he's just going to collapse off to the side. So he is going to over base to one side. He's going to hook his arm in to the back of my head, gets it nice and tight, and then I'm going to throw him off to the other side. And then we're going to go to the other side. And we're going to go side to side, making sure our students' arms are switching. Next little drill, we're going to take the hands, place them onto the chest, pushing up onto the chest. He's going to swim, swim, and down. So let's go nice and slow on this. So he takes one arm through, takes the second arm through, and as his chest comes through the arms, he connects his chest again to my chest and puts the arms out nice and wide. So I push up, he swims, swims, and down. Push up, swim, swims, and down. Nice. Okay, so next one, I'm going to turn myself over. What Oliver's going to do is, instead of trying to keep me in position, he can see me turning, so he's going to give me a little bit of space. So as I start to turn, he lifts up to one foot and gives me this little bit of space to turn underneath him. That way I can turn my back towards him, which is an advantage for him. As I turn over, I'm going to go onto my elbows and onto my knees, and he's going to get into a position that we call crazy horse. All of you students should know what this is, what this position is. They enjoy this position a lot. So the hooks are going to come in. Make sure your student's not crossing their legs. Hooks are going to the inside of the legs here, and he's got a seat belt grip. So arm over the shoulder, arm underneath my armpit, and he holds nice and tight. If for whatever reason your student can't grip their own hands because they can't reach, they're able to grab hold of the clothes like this is fine. But grabbing the hands is ideal. Now parents, it's time for you to have some fun. Your job is to try to shake your student off. So I'm going to come up, I can shake him off this way, I can try to shake him off to the side, I can make him spin around on my butt. Note of caution though, some of the younger kids are not going to have as much control over their head as what Oliver has. So it's important that you don't shake them around too much and end up bashing heads. We don't want anyone getting injured. So maybe for some of the older kids, you can go a little faster. For some of the younger ones, it would just be a little lighter, a little slower, so that we're not going to put their head in any danger. Okay? So, Ethan and Oliver, you're going to show us the next part. So let's start off with Ethan on the bottom, please, and Oliver's going to be in the top position, mount position. Ethan, come back a little bit. Perfect. All right. So, Ethan, side to side, 4 times each side, swims 4 times, and then take that crazy horse, Oliver. You ready? Go. Good, 4 swims. He pushes up, swim, swim. Pushes up, swim, swim. 2 more. Good. All right, so let's take the back. So it gives him a little bit of space. gets his hooks in, gets his seatbelt grip, and then Ethan has become the crazy horse. Okay, Ethan, you've got about 5 seconds to shake him off. Go. And time. Alright, good. So, now it's Oliver's turn. We'll see how many pies Ethan's been eating recently, shall we? So, Oliver, can you move back into the middle of the room? Ethan gets his mount position. Alright, so, are you ready? 8 times side to side. Go. Good. 4 swims. Good. A little bit faster, boys. Come on, let's go. Good. And then turn over for the crazy horse. Good. Hooks in. Seatbelt grip. Good. Oliver, can you crazy horse? Just about. Watch out, watch out. And time. Alright, good. I think Ethan definitely has been eating a few pies recently. Okay then, so last thing we're going to finish off with here is we're going to finish off with a little game which the kids love. It's basically the sleeping crazy horse. So boys, if you go stand off to the side for me. So I'm going to be the sleeping crazy horse. Your student's job is to creep in without waking the horse up. As they get onto the horse wakes up and goes a little bit crazy, try to shake them off. Parents, your out is to give them a little tap if you're a little bit tired and you can't continue anymore. So Oliver's going to go first. I'm going to sleep. His job is to creep in and get on me before I wake up. Are you ready, Oliver?
Yeah.
All right. Good. Woo. Nice work. Well done, Oliver. That was good. Parents, just a note of caution. Make sure that when you wake up, you don't wake up and bash your student in the head. And also, make sure that you leave enough space between your arms and your legs for them to be able to get their arms and legs in. If we're pulled up tight like this, they're never going to be able to get their limbs inside. So, Ethan's turn. You ready, Ethan? All right, let's do it. Good. Nice work. Good, Oliver. Come back out for me, please. All right, so hopefully that's enough to get you guys started a little bit. Hoping that this situation doesn't continue for too much longer. But as long as it does, we'll try to, every couple of days, give you guys a class so that you can work on with your student at home. Make sure you please stay nice and safe, and hopefully we'll get to see you guys again soon. See you later. Well done, Ethan.